If you've ever lost a dog and felt like you lost a family member, here's something you need to know. The science says you're not exaggerating. 3 weeks after your dog died, you're walking to the grocery store. You pass the park where you used to go every morning, the one with the bench under the oak tree. Without planning to, you stop. Your hand moves to your pocket, feeling for the treats you haven't carried in weeks. Your throat tightens, and there's a weight in your chest that makes it hard to take a full breath. A voice in your head says, "I should be over this by now. It's been 3 weeks." Then another voice, quieter, answers back, "But you're not over it, and maybe that's okay." If you've felt this, honestly, I've been there. And here's what I need you to hear. Your grief is not disproportionate. It's not silly. You're not being dramatic. The reason losing a dog can feel like losing family is because neurologically and psychologically, that's exactly what happened. Your brain doesn't categorize bonds by species, it categorizes them by depth, consistency, and safety. And for many people, dogs provide all three in ways that some humans never do. Society might tell you to move on quickly, that it's just a pet. But that dismissal says more about society's discomfort with grief than it does about the legitimacy of your loss. The mechanism here is called the oxytocin-mediated attachment loop. Oxytocin is a hormone your brain releases during bonding moments. When you hug someone you love, when a mother holds her baby, when you feel safe with someone. Here's what the research shows. When you and your dog make eye contact, both of your brains release oxytocin. Your dog looks at you, your oxytocin rises. You feel warmth and connection. You look back at your dog, their oxytocin rises. It's a feedback loop, the same biological process that bonds mothers to infants. And here's the counterintuitive part. Brain imaging studies show that when people look at pictures of their own dog, the same regions light up as when they look at pictures of their own child. Your brain treats this bond as family because, biochemically, it is. I call this the attachment recognition framework. 3 reasons dog loss grief is real, valid, and often disenfranchised. Step 1. The attachment bond is real. Dogs meet all 4 criteria of attachment theory: proximity seeking, safe haven, secure base, and separation distress. These are the exact markers psychologists use to identify primary attachment figures in humans. Here's a concrete example. When you come home stressed, your dog approaches you. You sit on the floor, they lean against you, and something in your nervous system settles. That's a safe haven, a biological signal that this relationship regulates your emotions. One sentence you can say to yourself: this bond was real, and losing it is a real loss, not a lesser one. Step 2. The grief can be clinical. A 2026 study found that 7.5% of people who lost a pet met diagnostic criteria for prolonged grief disorder, at rates similar to losing close friends, siblings, or partners. And among people who'd experienced both human and pet loss, 21% identified their pet's death as more distressing. Here's a concrete example. Maybe your dog was the one who greeted you every single day for 12 years. The one who never judged you, never left, never got too busy. When they died, you didn't just lose an animal. You lost your daily structure, your emotional anchor, your safe place. One sentence you can say to yourself: the depth of my grief reflects the depth of my bond, and that's not something to minimize. Step 3. The grief is disenfranchised. Disenfranchised grief means society doesn't openly acknowledge, validate, or support your loss. You might not get bereavement leave. People might say, just get another dog, or
least it wasn't a person. This isolation can make the grief worse. Here's a concrete example. You're crying at your desk 3 days after your dog died, and a coworker says, "Are you still upset about that?" The message is clear. Your grief has an expiration date, and you've exceeded it. So you stop talking about it. But the grief doesn't stop. It just goes underground. One sentence you can say to yourself: the society's discomfort with my grief doesn't make my grief invalid. It makes society's response inadequate. Here's a grounding exercise you can do when the grief feels heavy and the world feels dismissive. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Take one slow breath. Now say this out loud or in your mind, whatever feels right. The bond I had with your dog was real. The oxytocin was real. The attachment was real. The grief is real. I don't need anyone's permission to feel this. Pause. Notice what comes up in your body. You don't have to fix it or change it, just acknowledge it. And if you want, add this. There's no timeline for this. I can take as long as I need. That's it. You're not healing on anyone else's schedule. You're honoring what was real. So here's the recap. The oxytocin-mediated attachment loop creates bonds between humans and dogs that are neurologically similar to family bonds. The attachment recognition framework shows you why. The attachment is real. The grief can be clinical, and society disenfranchises it, but that doesn't make it less valid. Your tiny next step commitment. The next time someone minimizes your grief, or you catch yourself minimizing it, pause and remind yourself, this bond was real. If this helped you feel less alone in your grief, leave a comment with your dog's name. Just their name. That's enough. And if you need to come back to this, save the video. Thanks for watching.